What's up guys? I haven't done any video like this in a long time. I think it's time for us to update our series. I'm talking about Formation series. The last time I updated my series was more than 1 year ago and a lot of things are different now. So I think it's time for us to update our series, and there will be 4 videos I think in this series for shooter players, for biker players, for bulker players, and maybe for vehicle players as well. I'm not really sure about this, but I've seen there are a lot of players in the real estate event that are playing vehicles. So if you play vehicles and you are the subscriber of this channel, let me know in the comments down below. There will be 3 videos for sure, and maybe 4 videos if I see there are vehicle players that are telling me to make formation for their vehicle stats as well. Now with this, let's talk about the formation for shooter players. And of course guys, it's going to be shooter players, as I love shooters, I play shooters. But don't you worry biker players, the next video is going to be biker formation, as I also have now a biker account. So it's also important for me. Don't worry guys. Now, before we even discuss about formation, I want to make some things clear with you guys. I won't be giving you a formation that you can just copy paste and use. If I will be doing that, I think you will get decent result, but I don't think you will be getting the most out of your stats. If you want to get the maximum out of your stats, you need to make your own formation. And this is very important. And in this video, I will teach you how you can make your own formation according to your stats. And the reason for this is because everyone's stats are different. Maybe you have more bulker stats than me. Then you can use more offensive and defensive bulker to get more out of your stats. So everyone is different. Everyone's stats are different. So I will be telling you how you can make your own formation. On what basis I make my own formation? There is 2 things that I consider before I make formation. And my formation change with my opponent guys. It's not going to stay the same. It's going to change according to my stats and according to my opponent's stats. But I will give you a baseline which you need to follow when you're making your formation according to your stats and your opponent's stats. So in cases when your opponent is lower stats than you, I use less bulkers and more shooters, because I know that if I will use less bulkers, there will still be enough to take the damage from the enemy troops, and then my shooters are going to start doing the damage on opponent troops, and I will win the battle easily because the opponent is lower stats than me. But in case of when opponent has higher stats than me, suppose that our opponent is more shooter stats than me or more bulker stats than me, then I will use more bulkers, because if I will use less bulker, my bulkers will die, and then the opponent troops are going to start doing damage on my shooters. And for shooters guys, they are not very good in taking damage. They die really fast. So before I even start to do damage on my opponent troops, my shooters will die because I don't have enough bulkers to protect my shooters. So this is how I make my formation according to my stats and my opponent's stats. This is the blueprint. If opponent is higher stats than me, then I use more bulkers, T10 defensive bulker, T11 defensive bulker. But if my opponent is lower stats than me, then I can use less bulkers. So I have given you the blueprint on how you can make your own formation. Another thing I want to make clear is that this formation blueprint is going to work for T10 players, T11 players, and even T12 players. So there is no problem. If you only have access to T10 troops, you can still make your own formation by this video. Now for me, I have a lot of T11 troops, a lot of T10 troops, a little bit of T12 troops. So the first thing I do in my formation, I will use all my T11, T12 troops. So this is all the T12 troops I'm going to use for my formation. Now I have T11 defensive bulker. If you don't have, then you can use more T10 defensive bulker. I will be using 100k T11 defensive bulker, and then I will be using all of my T11 snipers, because snipers are the ones that are going to do the most damage. If you don't have T11 snipers, then just use a lot of T10 shooters. As for T10 defensive bulk, now I have a lot of T11 defensive bulker. If I don't have, I will be using a little bit more T10 defensive bulk. So for now, in my case, I will be using only 50,000 T10 defensive bulker. But if I don't have T11 bulkers, or when I don't have T11 defensive bulker, I was using a lot more T10 defensive bulker. Let's talk about T10 shooters. I will be using somewhere around 70,000 something T10 shooters and 35,000 something T9 shooters. This is no fixed number guys. I'm just making this formation according to my crime ops capacity and my stats. If you have different crime ops capacity, you need to change your formation according to your crime ops capacity. So I still have some space, so I will increase my T10 shooters. So this is my formation for my opponent. Now, as I said earlier in the video, that my formation is going to depend on my enemy stats. So suppose if my enemy is higher stats than me and I still believe that I can beat him, what I will do is that I will decrease my T9 shooters and I will increase my T10 bulker. This is what I will do, because then my bulker will be able to take more damage. Then I will have enough bulkers to take damage from the enemy troops. And I believe that I will win that battle, because my bulker will be taking damage. On the same time, my shooters are going to do the damage on the enemy. So this is how I adjust my formation according to my stats and my opponent's stats. So this is the formation video for shooter players. If you have any question, anything that you want to ask, or any suggestion, let me know in the comments down below. Next one is going to be biker. So make sure you subscribe the channel, turn on the notification, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.